Well, it was a tumultuous year for Achille, Oklahoma, culminating with its former mayor pleading guilty to stealing guns, drugs, and cash from the town's police evidence room, which he admitted he did to support his meth addiction.
But as Stan Smith explains, that was just one of several scandals that rocked the tiny Bryan County town in 2019.
2019 was a year of big news in tiny Achille, Oklahoma, with controversy dating back to late 2018 when Mayor David Northcutt was arrested when he and an accomplice broke into a home and were caught with meth. A month later, Councilman Lynn Chambers and 4 others were arrested after police raided his home and surrounding buildings, where they found over 200 grams of meth, 2 pounds of marijuana, and several firearms. In early January, tempers flared at a council meeting when Councilman Brian Baker learned he too was under police investigation.
This is going on long enough. I don't know that we're discussing now is on the agenda. Every 3 weeks.
Then in March, Northcutt, who's openly gay, claims he was called homophobic slurs, then viciously attacked. Days later, Baker's wife was arrested at her home for possessing a firearm after a felony conviction. That arrest prompted the suspension of the entire Achille Police Department and the eventual firing of Chief Chris Watson. A week later, the department's evidence room was breached, with guns, drugs, and cash all taken. In April, Northcutt was out as mayor, opting not to run again, but the new council hired a new police chief. A month later, former Mayor David Northcutt was charged in the police evidence room break-in. He admitted to News 12's Dan Thomas moments before his arrest he'd taken the missing drugs, guns, a Yeti cooler, and about $8,000 in cash he used to pay bills and gamble.
It's time to be held accountable for some of the actions which I've been a part of.
Then in May, the council voted Chambers as Achille's new mayor, and a day later we learned charges wouldn't be filed against him despite what was found on his property because the search warrant wasn't legally served. In November, Northcutt pleaded guilty to federal charges from the evidence room theft for selling the guns he stole across state lines in Grayson County, Texas. He faces up to 10 years in federal prison. And in December, Chambers filed a lawsuit against Victory Life Church in Durant for its police department's alleged role in his arrest. He's seeking more than $500,000 in damages.
Well, family tells us Northcutt, an admitted drug addict, is now in a rehab facility. In addition to his federal conviction, he's due back in state court in January on burglary and drug possession charges. Baker's wife, who claimed all along the gun was not hers and belonged to a tenant, was never charged after her arrest.